Astral Beacon is the story of a lighthouse keeper named Hawks. He's stationed on a deep space lighthouse in the middle of an asteroid field in a nebula environment. And he's trying to solve the mystery of the death of his daughter, Clara, and trying to contact her beyond the grave through a crystal that powers the lighthouse.
When we create a world for a film like Astral Beacon, we start with the story. When I learned the story and I went into my studio and I'm finding objects that speak to this universe, I actually played with the preliminary set and objects, and I imagined what it was like to be the characters and to experience these objects. And I fell in love with the story, and so that love is carried through the making of this world.
Ben has already worked it out. He has a clarity of vision on this project. When someone comes up with something with this kind of scope, the amount of work that he's put into it just to design it up to this point, we designed the floor of the set digitally in Illustrator, and then we sent it off to be cut with a CNC router so that all the pieces would fit together and create a modular deck that the puppeteers could operate through.
This is Hawks, and he's the star of the show. And he is a rod puppet. This sort of puppet comes from a Czechoslovakian technique used a lot in Eastern European countries. His hands are all removable. This unscrews, so I can change hands and switch them for puppets. So we could create hands that were needed for a special scene and just slip them on there very quickly. Unlike marionettes, which just sort of can sway around, you can get very good hand control and head control with them, manipulate them in ways that look very realistic. They work especially good at this scale with film. The puppet making is really exciting, more exciting than the larger scale puppets. They actually work better and they look better, and it's easier to film them. Everything can be in miniature.
With all of the digital effects out there and all of the movies that are shot in a completely blue or a green room, and the actors are pretending like it's a black box theater and you just have to imagine these things and they're all drawn in later. I think getting back to practical effects and things that go right down the lens as opposed to things that are added later is probably going to be a welcome change or a welcome return. Even if it's a return to a tradition, it's telling stories in new ways. The way it's being portrayed and the way you're seeing it and the way Hawks can literally be anyone makes it very relatable and can really draw the audience.
Because it's a live action element with a kind of animation aesthetic, there's nothing else like it. It's a great medium for audiences to use their imagination, to see a puppet character and then hear a voice from a voice actor and connect those two dots in their mind. There's nothing connecting those two dots other than the performance of the puppeteer. So when those two things come together, it's an opportunity for the audience to engage in a way that they wouldn't with any other kind of filmmaking. And there's a kind of magic to that you don't get in any other form of animation. I think the miniature world that Hawks is in is a good metaphor for where he, as a character, sees himself. It's a small world, it's compact. It's very kind of claustrophobic at times. There's a kind of cosmic destiny about puppetry. It's this kind of thing like, who's pulling the strings? You don't know. That's something that I think Hawks is wondering too on his journey as a character. Investing in Astral Beacon is an amazing opportunity, in part because we've assembled an amazing crew of keys who are just excellent filmmakers, and many of them untapped resources who haven't done a lot of films before. So it's amazing to get them in this kind of context. There's been nothing else like it. If you're investing in Astral Beacon, you're investing in something that's totally different from anything else out there.
One of the things about Ben that I'm impressed with is the team he's put together. Everyone here is amazing. They're all great, they're kind, they're looking out for each other, and that will make this project succeed.
I think audiences are gonna fall in love with the story of Hawks, just like I did. There's a magic about it that gets a hold of you. It's a story about fatherhood and having a daughter and disconnecting from someone that you love very much. Because we're doing it with puppetry, there's a tremendous visual element to the story that's really powerful. It's really unique, and it's mesmerizing. There's a magic to that world and a magic to the lighting and the cinematography that Tom Pritchard has provided, the puppets of Hobie Ford. It's mesmerizing. It's all a miniature world that we've created with puppets, with models, with analog technology, 16mm film. It's the story of how Hawks solves the mystery of the death of his daughter, Clara, and how he's confronted by the man he thinks killed her.